peak age.
Are you feeling like you are past your peak? I'm sure you've seen this. Somewhere out there, right now, there's a group of men on a podcast or young people that don't know anything yet, and they are debating a woman's peak age. And the determinant is usually a woman's peak youthful beauty. That's usually what they're talking about. A lot of people would say the late teens are an age of peak youthful beauty, whereas some women don't reach their peak youthful beauty until their 30s. But peak youthful beauty, that is not our worth. That is not our total value. Youthful beauty and fertility should not be the only determinants of our worth and value in society. They aren't even in the top 10 values that actually matter. The idea of a peak age is way too simplistic. Peaks of any type can happen at all ages of our lifetime. Peak athletic performance, fertility, earnings and career success, overall physical health. That does not include the people that decided to get healthy after their 30s. They could have a peak of health way after their 30s if they start to treat their bodies right. Emotional intelligence, that typically develops and refines throughout your entire life. A peak in happiness and life satisfaction, well, that could really happen anytime throughout your life because happiness levels tend to rise after women typically have achieved some sort of personal or professional goal or established strong relationships and gained a sense of purpose. Entrepreneurship. So starting successful businesses often happens later in life for women. There's all sorts of factors that make that true, but still no peak age for entrepreneurship. And the good news about that is that, sure, you could start a business in your 20s and have it be successful. You could also start one in your 70s and have it be successful. Have you noticed this? That every 5 years we change. Our lives change, we physically change. If you look at a picture of yourself from 5 years ago, don't you say, wow, look how young I was. It was only 5 years ago. Every 5 years, we age into a new, let's call it level. We level up every 5 years. And what we should be doing is taking a little bit of a more of a microscopic view of our peaks. And we should be looking at those little 5-year chunks, whether it's 20 to 25, 30 to 35, 45 to 50, and look at that as a span of time. What peaks can you hit within that span of time? Right now, I'm in the 45 to 50 year range, and I will not hit a peak in youthful beauty, but I might hit a peak in emotional intelligence or self-acceptance, not caring what other people think. And that might cause a peak in personal happiness and satisfaction for me. And I think that that happiness would bring me much more satisfaction than my peak youthful beauty did. So can we talk about physical beauty for a second? You actually might find that you hit multiple points of beauty throughout your life. Youthful beauty is not the only beauty that a woman can have. One of the greatest things about aging is caring less what other people think, because then that allows you to experiment with what you wear and your color choices and what you do to express yourself. You're free. You don't have those same limits. When you thought everybody was looking at you, guess what? Nobody was looking at you or thinking about you. I think that's one of the most valuable lessons we can teach our young girls when they worry that what are people thinking about me? They're not thinking about you. So as an older woman, when you care less, you can experiment more. And you might actually find that later in your life, after you experiment more with your looks, you'll find better looks for you. You'll find things that work on you the best, or things that make you so happy that your happiness radiates out of you as beauty. I am not going to tell you to love your wrinkles. I don't love mine. I don't love the physical changes I see in my face every 5 years. But what I do love is that I'm becoming more confident in who I am and my abilities. And that gives me this sense of confidence and satisfaction that honestly cannot be debated by anyone sitting around on a podcast. That sense of beauty is something that no one can take away from you. That sense of beauty comes from happiness with yourself. I once met this woman in her 50s. She was a restaurant owner. And When she came out to talk to our table, she just seemed so happy. She was smiling the whole time. She seemed like she was genuinely happy to her core. And I just thought, wow, that woman was so beautiful. She was more beautiful than some teenagers and early 20s women with less self-confidence. That really changed my mind about beauty and aging, because if you are happy and you radiate that happiness to others, you will be beautiful. The kind of beauty that comes from genuine happiness, it can't be taken away from you either by time and aging or by a group of people sitting around on a podcast talking about a woman's peak. I hate that term so much. That's why I made this video. The whole point of this video is that you don't have just one peak age in your life. You can have so many peaks within your 5-year ranges of all sorts of parameters. And that's exciting. Isn't it good to know that there is no supreme average peak for women? There are so many personal peaks to look forward to. So, have you hit your peak? Sure, in some ways you have. And wasn't it great? I hope that you enjoyed it. But there are so many other ways that you have not hit your peak yet. The beautiful thing is that you can hit new high points all throughout your life, up into the very end.